Hi there. This series is how to be a better field target shooter in 15 minutes. And what I'm doing in this series is taking different topics about field target and breaking them down into around a 15-minute episode, talking to different shooters from across the country and getting advice on how you can become a better field target shooter. And tonight I'm going to be talking to Gerald Long about natural point of aim. And Gerald helps run the field target and Grand Prix matches at Central Carolina Gun Club in North Carolina. He shoots WFTF, and he's been shooting field target since 2015. And Gerald's a great shot. He doesn't miss much. So I know if my score is close to his, I'm doing pretty good. And I'd also like to thank Gerald for this series, because he at Nationals this last year, I was talking to him, and he actually gave me the idea to do this series. So thanks a lot, Gerald. I appreciate it. And I know a lot of other shooters are appreciative too. So let's talk now to Gerald about natural point of aim. So good evening, Gerald. How are you doing today?
Great. How you doing, Philip?
I'm doing good. The Christmas tree looks great behind you. Looks like you've got a decorator in the house. It looks great.
I do.
All right. Well, I want to talk to you tonight about natural point of aim. And I remember whenever I started field target and years after that, we'd be shooting with Will Pyatt, and Will Pyatt was always talking to us about natural point of aim. And Will was a mentor to a lot of shooters. And I've talked to some of those shooters since then, and this is one of the things that they really learned a lot from, was him teaching about natural point of aim. So if you could, in your own words, sort of describe to us, what is natural point of aim?
Natural point of aim, I think it can mean some different things to different disciplines, but for the purpose of field target, I thought about this a little bit. I think what I would describe it as is natural point of aim is the position and the time frame for when you can make the most accurate shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So whenever I come up to a target, and I get in position, would you say the natural point of aim is, and I think I remember Will saying what you do is you get in position, and he was mostly talking about the standing position. But you get in position, you shut your eyes, you take a couple of breaths, you open your eyes, and if you're on the target, great, that is your natural point of aim. If you're a little off to the right or the left, you need to adjust yourself to get on that natural point of aim. Does that sound about right?
That's exactly the way I understand it. And, the fact that, Will was really good about teaching this, and certainly he helped me a lot as well as he did a lot of other people. And I think, natural point of aim, we like to try and isolate that. But I think, to me, natural point of aim and position and then the actual shot sequence are kind of all related,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of are important to making that accurate shot. And that's where I think natural point of aim is, just like you said, it's where you're going to settle in kind of naturally.
Right.
And it assumes that you got a good position built already,
Mm-hmm.
and that you have a good shot sequence already.
Right. Okay. So, natural point of aim is you're at a relaxed position, and you open your eyes, and you're there. You're not having to muscle the gun around to get on your target. I guess that also applies to a vertical. You've got your arm in the right position, a natural place. So how do you adjust if you're looking at your target and you see that you're not on a natural point of aim, you're off to the left or the right or whatever? What are some things you can do to adjust your natural point of aim?
Like you just said, like if it's, say it's a standing position, if you've got a good, stable position to begin with, then if you're off to the left or the right, then the easiest thing to do is just, move your feet a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
vertically, sometimes with that, you can actually just move your hand a little bit, your support hand,
Right.
and make the elevation change a little bit. Now, of course, evil match directors can do things like have extreme up or down shots or make you stand on some sort of uneven terrain. And that can really mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my personal opinion is that if you've got a good, stable position, that's a good first step to having a good natural point of aim in those situations where you got extreme up, down, or uneven terrain. But to really master that one, you got to spend some time, like at Artie's, shooting on some uneven terrain to really master that,
Right.
or extreme up or down.
Yep. Yeah. We in North Carolina we have some courses that the shooting box, as you could say, is not always flat. Often it's not at all. You're in a ditch or you're halfway on a hill. And I've actually even been I've actually here practicing, I've built a ramp and I'll have 1 foot on the ramp and 1 foot on the ground just to make myself as unbalanced and uneven as possible to get used to that, finding that natural point of aim. And you talked about moving your foot a little bit. So if you're in the standing position and you're trying to adjust your natural point of aim, and I remember Will telling us this too, all you have to really do is move a toe. And I'm talking just an inch or two can make a world of difference. So you can move your back foot an inch or two or toe. You can move your front foot. It doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't. And, this is where I think in the case of, like if you're shooting extreme up or down for you hunter guys, that can be, I think, a little bit more challenging because you don't have the advantage of being able to, change the riser, at least to go up.
Yeah. Now,
if you're shooting downhill, I think that's where we all have to learn to kind of deal with that one. And that can be a tough shot.
Right. Originally I thought that natural point of aim, we would mostly be talking about the standing position, and maybe we are, but I believe natural point of aim really can apply to any of the positions. You're in a seated position or the kneeling position, either one. And, if you close your eyes, you take a couple of breaths and open up and you're not on the target, you need to move your butt. You need to get in position. Don't muscle that rifle, because if you're using muscle, you're not as steady.
Absolutely. Natural point of aim is one of those things where if you don't master it, then, like you said, you get in the position and you're on the clock. So you wind up spending a bunch of time trying to find a target or trying to get steady, or if you just accept a bad position, that you won't be as steady potentially when you want to make a shot. So it's something that you really need to master.
And it takes a practice. Almost all of these episodes that I've been recording, almost every single one of them, at the end, it all goes back to practice and practicing before a match ahead of time in these positions to be prepared, so you're not surprised or not stressed out because you've been put in a position that you weren't prepared for. It's all coming back to practice. To sort of end this, to wrap this up, what tips or suggestions do you have for shooters to make some positive improvements to their natural point of aim? Are there any tips you can give as far as approaching this?
Yeah, I tell you what works for me and what's helped me a lot on natural point of aim, like you said, regardless of what position you're in. As you got your sequence going, once you are in the basic position, if you go ahead and do that thing where, like you said, you mount the gun, however it is, you kind of settle in, you close your eyes, you open them, and you see where you are, and then what sort of adjustment you need. And then take the shot or even do a dry fire. Kind of unmount the gun, but don't move your feet, don't get out of position, and then remount the gun a second time. Theoretically, if you had a good natural point aim the first time, the second shot should be pretty close. And if it's not, over the course of time, I think you just kind of learn this and you develop a better natural point of aim.
So don't be afraid to, if I think what you're saying is don't be afraid to put the gun down and pull it back up. And if you need to make adjustments, great. I'm learning that if I'm in a position and I'm uncomfortable, don't try to force something that's not going to, it's called a yellow light shot. You don't want to take a yellow light shot. You want to take a green light shot where things are good to go, And so don't be afraid to put the gun down and pick it back up. You are on the clock, but
I forget whose book that is, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And when we talk about putting the gun down, if you're in position and the gun's just not settling on the target the way, if it's high, low, falling out the bottom or whatever, don't try to, the expression is, don't try to dress up the shot. Right? I can muscle this thing in or whatever, because that almost always goes wrong. So put the gun down, take a break, take a few breaths, get back on it, and go from there. Another one is don't stay on the shot too long. Right? If I just keep holding this, it's going to eventually wander in there, and I take the shot, and usually that almost always never works either. You wind up, the wobble gets bigger, and then you get desperate because if you're holding your breath, you're running out of air.
Getting target panic.
Yep.
Good stuff. Well, I appreciate you taking the time tonight and sharing some of your experience with us about this. And I think it'll help some shooters out there. Thanks a lot.
Glad to do it, Philip. I think you're doing a great thing here for the sport.
Sure. Thank you very much.